Okay, so girl, you know what? Sorry you missed yesterday's debate, but it was so lit. Guys, like seriously. Okay, so guys, I'm with Miss Karima Kwenda, Natasha, by the way. She drove all the way from Harare just to come in the 10 Friday night debates. But today we are going to be discussing GBV, gender-based violence. As you know, we are in the 16 days of the campaign to stop gender-based violence. So we're going to hear her views. By the way, she's a politician. She's a CEO, future CEO. She owns a lot of companies, am I right? But girl, but you're young. We are going to talk about GBV. But you're young. How did you achieve all that?
It's willpower. You know, when you want to build a legacy, you have to start as quickly as possible. The moment you have that vision and that drive, you just hit the ground running.
Wow. Are you not from a rich family though? Because you know people are like, you know what, it all depends with the background.
No, it's true. I do come from a privileged family. I come from a family of scientists, so that's where all the science behind the detergents comes from.
Wow.
But then I told my mother that I didn't want her help. I wanted to start something from scratch so that I had a sense of ownership over it.
Wow, that power that you always want to look at something and be like, this is mine.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it. So your company you manufacture detergents, soaps, lotions.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
okay. So you can also treat my skin. Right?
Oh yeah. We'll have a discussion about it.
Okay, cool. So girl, what are you planning? Since you're a politician, what are you doing during the 16 days?
Well, during the 16 days, I'm obviously going to advocate, talk to people. I think when it comes to gender-based violence, we seem to do away with men being victims, men being infringed.
You're right. But I don't think it's our fault because the men themselves, they do not come out and say, I've been abused. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Even if, another speaker said, when it comes to sexual abuse, men will not come out and say, I've been sexually harassed. Instead, they'll go for it. This is one section. The gender-based violence side, I think for a man to come out and say, my wife beat me yesterday, we'll laugh at that person, won't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so what would you encourage men to do?
I think the first thing is, are there safe spaces for men to then express them being violated against, whether it be sexually, physically, and even mentally and psychologically are also types of violence that can be experienced, which is something that our culture hasn't really embraced. So people don't even talk about that element at the end of the day. So I think the first thing, me being a politician, we should advocate for safe spaces, not just for women, because safe spaces for women to go out and say, I've been raped, I've been beaten up by my husband or by my boyfriend, those spaces exist, but we now have to create safe spaces for men. I have been told by men that I know very personally that they've gone to the police, they've tried to,
and no action was taken,
and they've been laughed at in the face.
Yes, he had laughed at.
Yes.
But the police did something about the issue.
No, they didn't.
Really?
They didn't do anything, because how do you then go back to that place when you've been psychologically and mentally bruised, not just by your girlfriend or your wife, but by the police who think your case is just insignificant?
I know.
What then do you do? Do you push? You just you just get to terms with no one cares and society doesn't understand what I'm going through, so you just push it under the rug. And what it does is that it demotivates other men to then come out and talk about the issue at the end of the day. So the thing that I've realized, especially in society, now that we are concentrating on the girl child, women empowerment, all these things, we've sidelined the men in this process. We have demoralized the man. We have made the man look like a predator, and because that has been happening, the privilege that men had gotten, that they obviously abused with things like rape and economic gain by using women, that shift in power has gone to women, and now women are using that against the men. I don't know if it's revenge. I don't know if it's a sense of power that
I think
they
it's a
never
two-way thing. I think
Yeah.
it's a two. We don't even know what to do with the power ourselves.
Yeah.
So I think we also need to be taught what to do with this power that we are being given.
Exactly.
And wow, I like that.
Yeah, because if you're truly empowered as an individual, what you want to do is to share the power. That's what the true meaning of empowerment is, sharing power.
It's our time, girl. Let us shine.
Yeah, we must share this power, but you cannot share something that you do not have.
Oh,
If you have power and you share power, that's empowerment. But you cannot share something that you do not have.
okay, I get it. But do you think the men themselves, they're willing to come out and say I was abused? Of course, you spoke of 2 cases, but most men, I think as a man, I think it actually hits your ego.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you're going to grow as an individual, because when you're looking at gender-based violence, we're trying to save individuals within the society so that the next individual doesn't get hurt. Once one individual is infringed against, and people who look like that individual or exist in the same space as that individual then get into that sort of arena, it means that individual is under threat. So because men are not able to speak out, so men are they're not going to do it, because society has already told them, especially this African society has already told them, if you're a man, you need to be a man. If you have problems, you need to deal with problems by yourself. And we're not creating those safe spaces for men. Now that men have to deal with their own problems, whether they get beaten up or they get pushed out of the system, what happens is that all men are now under threat. And because they can't talk about it, they will forever be under threat, under the guise of women empowerment.
I like it. What's your advice to Zimbabwe and men and women out there?
My advice is that you have to look for your safe space. If you truly want to empower yourself, look for your own safe space, because safe spaces exist in so many places. It could be your church, it could be your aunt, it could be your girlfriend, it could be your friends. Your safe spaces exist. Ensure that your safe spaces protect you, your safe spaces make you grow as an individual. I think this is where gender-based violence can truly be addressed at the end of the day. When these safe spaces can be identified, then these safe spaces must come together and then advocate for women, advocate for men. If you have an organization that protects men specifically, like I know there's the Boy Child Foundation, that foundation is able to come up with statistics, talk to these people, and have that sense of security for them. Then they can go up to governmental structures and different sort of systems, whether it be health sector, even commercial sectors, and advocate on behalf of these people. Because as individuals, you can't advocate for yourself. Find that safe space. Safe spaces must let people gravitate towards them. Then they can advocate, and then we can deal with the problem.
Okay, your advice to media.
To media, I think media needs to be objective. Be objective about this situation. The thing is, we shouldn't be clout chasing. People want to, come up with the most destructive story, the most story that,
I've been noticing that these days, you know what, everything is controversial. You get what I'm saying? We don't really get those news that empower us.
Exactly. Get things, because the thing with gender-based violence, in every single story, there is a sense of hope that the media can bring out, but instead media is turning this thing into something that's very devilish and something that's very extreme, which I think doesn't solve the problem. Media, if you look throughout history, media had been used as a method to ensure the right sort of social discourse to exist, whether it be the liberation struggle, decolonization of Africa, the fourth revolution. Media is supposed to be there to amplify the good, to ensure that society goes far. If you find a media stream that is toxic, that is bad, what it's doing is that it's fueling something that's very toxic and bad within the society.
Yeah.
And then we don't end up solving our problems.
You're right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your views.
Thank you so
I
much.
personally learned a lot. I hope everyone else is going to learn a lot as well. So, when are you campaigning to be the first female president of Zimbabwe? I'm kidding. Okay, thanks for coming, right?
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for watching. Let's stop gender-based violence and let's help our men come out and say, you know what, I've been abused, to want them to speak out. Okay, thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel. Remember to share this video as well and take care of others and yourselves as well. From me, and allow me to say Natasha, bye.